Hey guys, so Lauren wanted us to come in and tell you guys some of our tips and tricks of how we are recruiting on average. Sorry, my son's sick. On average, 3 to 5 people a month. So in the past 2 months, I've recruited 10 people. So I'm just going to kind of tell you what works for me and why I think maybe a lot of people are not recruiting like you need to be recruiting. So I think that there's two types of recruiting. There is passive recruiting and then there is active recruiting. Passive recruiting is when basically you kind of sit back and you wait for people to join your team. Or you are thinking that because you made a great post about about the presenter's kit, or because you're being successful, then people are just automatically going to join your team. That is what I would consider passive recruiting. I am 100% and always have been a active recruiter. So everything I do every day is geared towards getting people to join my team. So I open my mouth. I talk to people all the time. Every day I try to message people. 5 to 10 messages a day. I make that a goal to send out messages to people on my personal Facebook. And I simply ask them, have you ever considered joining my team? I am also, every post that I make, at least once a day, I make a post that is geared towards recruiting. But it's not going to be something that says, join my team, or, here's this amazing starter kit, you guys would love this. I don't make posts like that to get people to join my team. I believe in attraction marketing, and the fact that when people like you and they like what you're doing and they feel inspired by you, then they will want to be a part of what you're doing. So a lot of my posts are, me sitting right here with my son, or me, like a post that I made the other day was, I'm grateful. All right, it was me being funny. I was on the bed with my son who was sick, and I said something about grateful I called in sick today to my boss. Luckily, she's really nice, and she's letting me even stay on the bed today, or stay in bed. And then I put something at the bottom like, grateful I never have to use another sick day again. Something like that. So a lot of my posts are geared towards attracting people who would want that in their lives, who would want to make that change, who would want to say, what, I don't want to have to use sick days anymore. I don't want to have to make the decision of whether or not I can stay home with my kids or whether or not I have to be working. So when I make my posts, they are geared towards attracting people like that. I'll take pictures when I'm outside working with my kids. It's great to be able to be outside working. This is my office today, watching my kids play while I work my business. I post a lot of my success. I post anytime that I'm given an opportunity to do something, a trip, anytime my team breaks a record, anytime that I have new people join my team, anytime that something amazing happens in my business, then I post about it. I use every opportunity to focus on recruiting, and a big mistake that people make is that they don't focus on recruiting. They think about recruiting maybe once or twice in the month, and they say, oh, yeah, I need to start recruiting. Recruiting is on my mind every single day. Every single day I think, how can I get people to join my team? What can I do to attract people to start wanting to join my team? It's a process to have people join your team. It's not something that will happen overnight. It's not, you can't say, today I'm going to go focus on recruiting and get lucky and have somebody join your team. It is something you physically have to work at every single day. You have to work at being a good recruiter. You have to work at recruiting, period. It is, if you do not understand that there is a process to recruiting, then that might be another reason why you're not doing well with recruiting, because a lot of people think that, I did what she said, I sent 15 messages, but nobody joined my team. Well, it's not only about just sending messages. You have the follow-up process. You have the process of attracting people through your post on Facebook. It's all a process. Everything you do is helping people to see that they need to join your team. So my way that I recruit, I send messages. I find ways to attract people on Facebook through posts and through through showing my success, and that he's like literally like pulling my hair. And then I follow up. I stay in these people's back offices all the time. I am constantly checking up on them, getting to know them, building relationships with them. At any given time, if you were to come ask me, I could give you 5 people that I know that are currently interested in joining my team, that maybe just have not joined my team yet. And that's the way it should be. You should have a pool of people that you can always go and that you could always message them. If you have an opportunity webinar that's coming up, you should have people to message. If you're like, oh, there's an opportunity webinar, I don't have anybody to message, then you're not doing your job as a recruiter. You're not working on recruiting every single day. It needs to be a focus. And I tell my girls all the time, if you're struggling with something in your business, if you can't get sales, if you can't recruit, that just means that you need to focus harder on it. It doesn't mean that you're not good at it. It just means you need to focus harder on it. You need to read books on it. You need to become better at it. It does not mean that you can't be good at it. It just means you're not spending the time on it. So if you are maybe one of the people that maybe hasn't recruited in a couple of months, that's okay. It's time to change that. It's time to refocus. It's time to reignite your fire. There's a reason why you need to be building. If you're not building your business, then you're not growing your business. You have to be bringing new people in every single month, because what happens? You recruit people, and then you have the people who don't want to do anything, and those people fall off. That's why you need to be continually recruiting. You need to be continually recruiting so that you can find the runners on your team. You're not going to find runners if you're not building. People are like, well, I've only hit green. Why can't I get to orange? Have you been actively recruiting every month? Have you been bringing in 5 to 8 people every month? That's why you're not getting to where you want to be, because you're not recruiting. Recruiting is key in this business, just as much as selling and sponsoring and all that other jazz. You got to do it all. You can't say, this month I'm going to focus on recruiting, next month I'm going to focus on selling. It's got to be equal. Every single month you should have a minimum, as a leader in this business, you should have a minimum $2,000 in sales, minimum 3 recruits. I like to say 5 recruits, because that really means that you're growing your business. If you're recruiting 5 people, you're growing your business. And then you should be able to duplicate that to your team. You need to duplicate to your team that this is what they need to be doing too. I just can't. Recruiting is my passion in this business, because that is the fastest way that I have gotten success in this business, is through recruiting. It really makes a difference. So if you've only recruited, 10 people and you're still a green status presenter, then that's why you're a green status presenter, is because you're not recruiting. You got to bring new people in. You got to bring fresh legs in. You got to find the runners on your team. So once again, become an active recruiter. Don't be passive about this. You got to be active. You got to go out and you got to find those people who actually are wanting to join your team, and then you've got to work with those people. They're not going to join the first time that you ask them. These people are going to give you excuses. They're going to say no to you, because that is what people do. And if you're going to get offended by people saying no or giving you an excuse, then that's probably why you're not recruiting, because guess what? Every person I've ever talked to has said no to me the first time. When you recruit with that many at one time, do you have them in a little group chat? Yes, I bring in a lot of people every month, and typically it just depends on who I have that I am bringing in for the month. If I can kind of tell in the first few days what a person is going to do in this business, whether or not they're going to be ready to work, or because a person that is serious about this business, you don't have to tell them what to do. They just do it. They start their launch party. People who are a little bit slower are typically going to be the people that you have a harder time with leading. And so I usually do. I take my runners and I put them in a group together, but the other ones I train and I do the same things that I typically do with them. Amanda, is this what you're talking about? No, I am actually not talking about recruiting at convention. I am doing building recognition in your teams. I love recruiting. It's my jam. I love it. And it's okay if you don't love recruiting, but you have to understand that it is essential to your business. I don't like doing parties, but I know it's essential to my business, and it's something that I have to do. And if I know that I'm kind of don't really want to do parties, then I need to change my mindset about that, and I need to change how I feel about it, because I'm not going to be successful in this business if I'm not doing it all, if I'm not recruiting, if I'm not doing parties, if I'm not getting sales, if I'm not leading my team. You can't decide to do one thing one month and then the next thing the next month. Like, you're not going to be your success is not going to be equal in this business. You're gonna be moving in baby steps instead of giant leaps. If you do it all, you're gonna be jumping, big leaps at one time if you're doing it all. People ask me all the time, how did you hit green in 2 months? Because I was recruiting, I was selling, I had 20 parties going at one time. I was bringing 9 to 10 people in a month. That's how people get success so quickly, is because they're doing it all. They're working their butts off. They're giving this business all that they have. So anyways, I won't take any more of you guys' time. I think I was only supposed to do 3 minutes, but I do love recruiting. It's my passion. And think about it. Are you an active recruiter or are you a passive recruiter? Do you sit back and you wait for people to join your team, or do you go find people? That will probably be your key to why you are not recruiting large amounts of people. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Say bye. Bye, guys.